To see more women leaders, a lot has to still change on the global and corporate levels. But when it comes to the individual level, it is the woman who chooses the power moves that she makes to ascend to the top of the proverbial ladder. In our keynote address, Women Rising, Making Power Moves Towards Leadership, Leena Sahejwani, Vice President, Tata Group HR, Tata Sons Private Limited, addresses just what it takes to harness your power and become a boss lady. With over 2 decades of industry experience, Leena is responsible for group performance, rewards, diversity, and digital transformation, along with leading HR functions for Tata Sons. Leena has previously worked with Sun Pharmaceuticals, GE, Accenture, Aon Hewitt, and GlaxoSmithKline Consumer Healthcare in various HR leadership roles. She has an MBA degree in Human Resources from Symbiosis Institute of Management, Pune, and bachelor's degree in Economics from Lady Shri Ram College, New Delhi. A progressive thinker, Leena is always keen to solve tough challenges and create an impact. This keynote is being brought to you by the Her Key Club, which is Jobs for Her's initiative for women in leadership. Please do leave your questions for Leena in the chat box. We will do our best in getting them answered at the end of the session. We have a 10-minute Q&A session. But before I hand the floor over to Leena, we do have a video that we will play for you right now. Stay tuned.
Life is on an incline.
You need to continuously challenge yourself.
Something that you were really passionate about.
The packaging always becomes more important than who we are.
We should basically think and believe, all of us, that women can do everything on their merit.
We are all product of 2 kinds of leadership. One, what we get. Second, what we create. What we do with what we get. The day we women realize, as 33% of panchayat leaders, as MLA representatives, as social activists, as educationists, wherever we are, we use leadership and we create leadership. India will change.
There is no segment where the contribution of women is not significant. The socio-economic transformation that is taking place, particularly in the last decade, India's women's role and leadership is distinct. We also have a record number of 78 women MPs here in this house.
Take a pledge today that I will not be the user of value, I will be the creator of value. That I will not be a job seeker, I will be a job creator. That I will not be a follower, I will be a leader.
Wow. All right. And it sets the stage for someone with Leena's potential to take over. Thank you, Leena.
Thank you, Kajal. That was a wonderful video and a very warm welcome to people who are listening today. Firstly, we did have technical glitches. One shouldn't apologize for what one can't control. And, I see women actually apologizing a lot more than they should. So, I wasn't planning to talk about it, but then it just set the stage to talk about it. Technical glitches happen, and part of life. So Kajal, don't worry about it. It's Murphy's law, and you can't help it. So don't stress about things that you can't manage and control. And that's the first lesson that I'll talk about. We all have circle of influence, and a circle of concern. And the focus of everybody should be around the circle of influence and not the, not the circle of concern. Slowly and steadily, leaders do create larger circle of influence so that the circle of concern shrinks. And, if you keep yourself true to this, you will find good mental peace, and you'll also be able to find your way around leadership. I do have a few, charts to share with all of you. These are some lessons that I have learned, but I would like to have questions towards the end so that, I'm tuning myself to the kind of questions you have, as an audience. So just give me a second. So when you look at career, and I'm hoping that all of you can see the picture I have here. It's like driving a car. When you drive a car, and those who do, the windscreen is huge because you have to look forward, and you also have a rear view mirror to just look back and see that you're not going to cause an accident, or you're not going off track, or you're on course. But you don't look at the rear view mirror a lot. You look at the windscreen, which is right in front of you, and it's wider a lot. And career is like that as well. You have to keep looking forward, and at the same time learning from the past. But the past has to be very, very small in size as compared to the windscreen. So that is one thing that I have learned in life, that you have to let go of what is there, learn from it, move forward, and not have too much thinking around what's happened in the past, right? So it's just a rear view mirror in that proportion versus the windscreen. Again, the car analogy, right? You don't drive a car perpetually on first gear. You don't drive a car perpetually on fifth gear. Through your life, you will find various stages where you will have to shift gears. You may have to even reverse at times, and or come back to neutral and then push forward. So, unfortunately, when, at least I can say, when I was growing up, there was only one way of managing your career, which was, vertically up, but that's no longer true. If you are able to manage your own mental growth, and, you're able to continuously upgrade your capabilities and add skills to yourself, you are moving forward. That may require you to shift gears, come back, learn something different, unlearn, and then move forward again. So the other bit, which is again very specific to women, is, there are times when we have to be more focused towards, our families. There are times when you have to be more focused towards your job, and know when to shift those gears too. So when my daughter was small, and I would leave office at 4, just few months before, I was in office till 8, 9. So you have to readjust a bit and make sure that you're making time for what matters the most to you, because unless there is satisfaction and peace in your mind, you'll not be able to give your best. And you have to then at the same time make sure that the ecosystem around you is supportive, and that is something that you need to drive yourself. And it can't be, you can't just sit and think that somebody will have this conversation with me. You have to bring that conversation out. The next one that I have is, it's important to feel the stretch occasionally and increase strength and flexibility, right? What I mean by that is, and I'll give an analogy again, and I don't know how many of you have purchased a house or are considering purchasing a house, but when you're looking for an apartment or a house to purchase, there is a budget you have in mind. And as you start looking, most often than not, you like something which is slightly above budget or slightly difficult to attain. And then you get back home and think of, okay, I really like that place. Should I take it? But it's not fitting. Can we adjust our cash flows to make sure that we are able to pay for the EMI? That pain when you take and you go for that house is only felt for a year. And then next year onwards, you realize that the EMI is flowing very easily and you're able to manage your cash flows very well. Job changes are also similar. Sometimes we feel this is too big, I may not be able to do, but you have to just allow for that stretch for yourself. And, it becomes a flow in 6 months, a year from now. And then, you may think, oh, I could have done even a bigger job. Then, I was just feeling nervous about something which I shouldn't have been. And, you need to plan for at least 3 to 4 such opportunities where you really feel that you can't do it if you really want to grow. Because that's when you're out of your comfort zone and you feel that you can't do it, is when you really are able to make the most of what you've got. So do look for those opportunities. Don't do that too often, you'll burn out. But at least 3 to 4 times in a career is something that a typical career does experience. So look for that and increase your strength and flexibility as a result of that stretch that you take once in a while. Very important lesson that I learned. All of us, through our lives have been chasing things. Smart people choose and not chase. Chasing makes you feel exhausted. You're running behind things. Once you are there, you run behind more things. And it's a never ending game. But when you're making a choice, you are deliberately taking a decision which is considered, keeping in mind the context you are. So choose, not chase. When you choose, then you are at peace with yourself and you are able to take conscious calls for yourself, keeping in mind the context that you are in. So that's a very important lesson that I learned as well. Very important also is know when to go fast and know when to take people along. If you really need to move fast in decisions and you need to go with speed, then you have to do it alone, right? You don't have to, if you waste time and build consensus, you will miss the bus. At the same time, know what kind of opportunities or what kind of decisions to be walking with you. So in that you need velocity, and for velocity you need momentum, and for that you do need people to work with you. So taking people along becomes important. So at times you need to move with speed, at times you need to move with the velocity. And this is one key aspect of leadership I see many people struggle with. They don't know the same style. Either one will go always in speed or one will go only with velocity. That doesn't work. Understand when you need to move with speed, when you need to move with velocity. Next one, very important, aggression versus assertion. Unfortunately, women do get easily tagged as aggressive, even if they are assertive. So, just be aware of that fact. How one positions oneself. One key difference I find in aggression versus assertion: aggression is always I, it's my view. Assertiveness is about we. So when you're communicating that way, when you're saying, two parties are talking about it, I understand your perspective and this is my perspective, you come across as assertive. But if there is I in that dialogue, this is my point of view, then that becomes aggressive. So it's a very fine line, and women have to watch a bit more than men, unfortunately. That's the a bias that we run with, but just be aware of that and make sure that that fine balance is what you're walking to. be trustworthy, and leaders need to be trustworthy, right? Trust is a new currency, and not many can earn that currency. So, how you interact with people, how you uh, show that you're reliable, your say-do ratio, all of that goes in building trust. Even with your own team, maintaining confidences, knowing that people share a lot. And, especially with the last couple of years, I think there is, pretty much everybody's been operating from home. They share a lot more, and you break that trust, word does go around. If you are trustworthy, word will go around of that too. So, watch how you are coming across. Be genuine, be authentic. It doesn't take much effort to do that. It takes much more effort to try and fake something, right? And that is exhausting. So if you are yourself, and you are you, and that's how you're presenting yourself, I think trust will come your way, or you will be seen as trustworthy, you will be seen as authentic. It is very important. And authenticity also comes when you also show as a leader your vulnerability. And people need to see you as a human being too, and not, when you feel that way, it's okay to communicate as well as a leader, to do so, because you earn a lot of credibility when you do that, and you are seen as authentic, and genuine, and that's very important as well. Career is like a marathon. I was in, I think I was in class 5, and I was a athlete. This was Nehru Stadium in Delhi. And I'd just done 100, 200 meters. So this was a 1 kilometer race. And of course, I never had trained for that. So I ran it like I would run a 100, 200 meter race, and I was out of breath very soon. And then, my entire focus was not around completing the race and doing my best. My focus shifted to, okay, I need to now pace myself, and I have to keep a tab of who's going in front of me. And as luck would have it, and I knew that, I have to finish at the podium. So that was a goal that I had. As luck would have it, just towards the end, somebody really paced up, went ahead, and I came fourth in that race. Of course, I didn't pace myself. And, it's just an analogy I'm giving, because each one of us has a different pace. Each one of us at different points feel different energy, can give energy, and also depending on the life stage you are in, what's happening with you in your life, all of that matters. So know how to pace yourself, and don't look around to the competition, because that is not the competition. You need to do your best. And that you can only do when you pace yourself basis what you can achieve, and not basis what others are doing, right? So and if you are trying to run too fast, you will have a burnout. You are able to sprint, go slow, depending on the situation you are in. So just pace yourself well. And last but not least, I would say is, the way you're looking at it, whether you're looking at this escalator from below or from the top, the view is different. One thing that I learned, I would say very late, is the fact that, we, all of us, for some reason or the other, try and say, oh, this is the version, this is the truth, this is my view, this is how things happen. And conflicts happen in an organization when you are not able to see the other person's perspective. So it is all about perspective. It depends on where you're looking at it from. The same wall, if I'm looking at the screen, this is what I see, but you see the wall behind me, and that's a different perspective that you have. So understanding the different perspectives of people will help you be a more effective leader, and making sure that you're not talking about your version as the truth. is very important. So, knowing other people's perspective and ability to weave that into the solutions you are creating, and understand, or using that perspective to influence them, is something that I would leave you with as a very key lesson I learned, a little late, I would say, but not late enough. Timely, I would say, but you can learn it much quicker. Don't have to wait for experiences to tell you that. So with that, I will love to open for any question and answer that you have. Those
Thank
are some
you.
lessons
Thanks,
I wanted to
Reena.
share. Yeah.
My God, that was amazing. With such little words, you said so much on your slides. All right. So in the interest of time, we do have time for one question. This is from Adu. She says, I am currently working as an independent contributor. Everyone in management in my company is male, and the few women who are asked to step up do so as second chair or support to a man heading the division, which makes me step back from volunteering for leadership roles in the short term. Is there a better way to approach this?
Just ask for it. There is no other better way. So, and I know it's easier said than done. There have been times when I haven't done it too, right? And I realize that we all like to be tapped on our shoulders. We want the organization to recognize us, or, there is that level of doubt that seeps in, saying, I'm not ready yet, I'm not seen as ready yet. I would say that just do it, right? And if you need some boosting before that talk, call me. I will boost you up, right? So, and I can do that very well for others. I need that boost for myself. Somebody else will have to do it for me. So, but just do it. There is no other way. I see men do it so effectively, and I work with such senior leaders. Very, very easily they do it, right? And I'm women shy away. So there is no easy way to this. Just go do it.
Lovely. All right, Lina, we do have one more question. Another burning question, says Grishma. Have you faced a situation where, knowing that you can take the ownership and lead to complete a task, it will not be given to you because it must be showcased on a male employee's name? How do you deal with this? She says she has just quit the organization due to this reason and is now looking for opportunities.
I mean, one has to be smart in managing this. I know this can happen, but one needs to ensure that stakeholders around you know that the work is being done by you. And there are smart ways of doing that, casual conversations. You say, oh, I was working on that, and this is a point I wanted to make. You have to know the ecosystem well, and that comes with time. I'm sorry to hear that you left the org. I can understand why you did, because it does feel demotivating when something like this happens to you. I would like, it's again not easy. You may want to just have a chat saying, I would like to present, or go a step up, to the 1-over-1 manager if required, to say that I would like to present. There is no, you can't take a shortcut. You can't wait for a knight in shining armor to come and help you. You have to be that knight in shining armor for yourself. And if you can't do it, make sure it's there's somebody who can guide you to do it, because there are people who would mentor you to do it. So don't give up. It's easiest to do that. If you give up, then you keep giving up. That's very easy, right? It's hard to navigate, but you can.
All right. Thank you so much, Lina. I can say without a doubt that for the keynote that we had in mind, which was, the woman who chooses to make power moves that she makes to ascend to the top of the proverbial ladder, we couldn't have anyone better. We couldn't have had anyone more capable. Thank you for taking the time and being here.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Tina, for taking
Thank
the
you.
time.